Morning, everyone. It is a chilly morning at the Mount Elbert trailhead, so I'm going to climb Mount Elbert today, which is the highest peak in Colorado and the second highest in the continental U.S. This is a relatively easy hike in terms of a maintained trail and everything, so it's also going to be pretty busy because it's the state high point and everything, but yeah, that's fine. I kind of wanted it myself, so yeah, I'm gonna get a few other things ready here and get going. The thing about Elbert is it's a not particularly standout peak, despite being the highest in Colorado, the state with maybe the most mountains of any state. It's sort of in this range with, gotta be 14 or more other 14ers, and it doesn't really stand out from the valley level. In fact, the mountain next door to Elbert, just to the north, called Mount Massive, is just a couple feet shorter. And back in the day, there was a debate between Mount Massive supporters and Mount Elbert supporters. So, because Mount Massive is only a couple feet shorter, the Mount Massive people would go up to the top of Massive, stack like a big pile of cairns to make it a few feet higher than Elbert, and then the Elbert supporters would go down and destroy the cairn. So kind of a bit of a, I don't know, it really matters which one is the tallest, I guess, even though they look like basically the same mountain. But now we know from, GPS and LiDAR data which really is the tallest, and it's this one. I started kind of late, so I actually have had this trail all to myself so far because everyone else has already started, but it's very nice. I mean, it's a really nice morning. You can see the sunlight streaming through the trees onto my face. And yeah, I mean, there's definitely a difference between the spectacular glacial sort of rock walls that you'll get in some places and then the more simple beauty of just hiking through the woods and other places. So definitely helps me appreciate both the spectacular and the more humble side of things. That there is for the Continental Divide Trail, which is a very long cross-country hiking trail from New Mexico, the border with Mexico at New Mexico, all the way up to the border with Canada and Montana. So the hardest and the longest and the most remote of the three well-known cross-country hiking trails in the country. So I've toyed with the idea of doing it. It'd be quite a commitment. I mean, it basically takes people, I think, 3.5, 4-ish months to complete. So I don't know. I've toyed with it. It's kind of interesting. A lot of people do those sort of trails to sort of find themselves and to, I don't know, self-actualization, whatever. People have different words for it. And you'll hear them in videos, and oftentimes they'll admit that it's like, oh, well, I didn't really find myself. So that would not be my goal if I did it. I think my goal would be to, I don't know, have that sort of unique experience and just experience, creation in this beautiful country in all its different forms. And I think, I don't know, not that I have all the answers, but I feel like that's a better approach to it. But, to each his own. And I think anybody who's done it has got a lot more gusto and commitment than me to hiking. So here I am on just this sort of day hike, but we'll see. I don't know if I'll do it. Maybe one day. First view, there she is. Pretty mellow slope so far, and it's gonna stay relatively mellow most of the time. There's a well-maintained trail like this all the way to the summit. About halfway up, you can tell the views are opening up to the east. That's called the 10-mile range going in the background there. But it's pretty hazy today too. Definitely some wildfire smoke or something. But otherwise, very pretty, no wind. Great morning to be climbing. All right, about 1,000 feet to go here. Little cirque here. This is about the most exposed solid glacial rock or just solid rock you'll see on this mountain. So, yep. So the nice thing is, it's just this nice trail the whole way. So just have to put your head down and plug away. That's Mount Massive over there. That's it's got the largest area of land above 14,000 feet in the US. So, fun fact. It's also the second tallest mountain in Colorado besides the one that I am climbing right now.
We got the red mountain in the background there.
Cool views, you guys. So I've been up here for like an hour and a half already. Actually, I somehow got signal up at the top of here, and so I made a few calls and gave me an excuse to spend some more time enjoying the fantastic views. I think, this mountain in itself is not very visually impressive, right? It's a big lump of rubble basically, but I think the views from the top are probably the most vast that I've ever had from a summit. I mean, you can see a ways north, you can see all the way to, well, I did see it when it was less hazy back there, but Pikes Peak, which is the easternmost 14er. And then you can see all the way to the Elk Range over there, which are some of the westernmost 14ers. So you really have quite a vantage point up here, as you should, because it's the highest point in the country, in the state. Second highest point in the country, if not for that pesky Mount Whitney. But 14,040 feet. 14,440 feet, yeah. But yeah, so it was a zoo up here earlier, but there's not so many people now, so yeah, I'm gonna spend just a few more minutes and then I should really be heading down. It took me about 2 hours, 45 minutes to get up here, so that felt pretty good. Felt like a pretty good pace after what I did yesterday up on Blanca Peak, which is a much harder day. So yeah, this has been pretty chill, and yeah, the only real trouble is trying to keep the fattest chipmunks in the country away from my food because they are clearly very well fed. I don't think I've ever spent 2 hours on a stomach like this. Or do I think I will again? So, but it was fantastic conditions and I was able to make some calls, and so took advantage of it, might as well. But I'm gonna head down. I think be able to make pretty short work of this, because this trail is just so nice, and just be able to even run some of these downhill sections. So I will see you further down. So before my really serious hiking days started, maybe a year or so ago, my uphills were actually faster than my downhills, because I had the aerobic conditioning and the leg strength down, but the downhills, boy, the small muscles in my feet were pathetic. So yeah, but I think that has changed, and my downhills are actually finally faster than my uphills, which is, you know, how it really should be, because you have gravity in your favor. But yeah, it definitely feels good to just be able to cruise this kind of trail, because that was, you know, a year ago, it was not something I could do. So pretty happy about that. You might be able to see the famous old mining town of Leadville way back there. So the thing is about these mountains is they're not insanely spectacular prominence wise, despite their elevation, because the base elevation of that valley, like where the trees go away again, that base elevation is around 9,500 feet already, so it's already really high. So rising up, you know, 4,000 or 5,000 feet from that, I mean, they're big mountains, but it's not like what you'd see if you're driving into Grand Teton National Park or something. Those are really big mountains. So the point is, a big mountain is not solely determined by its elevation, and oftentimes the elevation really isn't a factor. If you watched my last video, you know that this trail is in much better shape than the Lake Como road. And it's not even meant for vehicles. The gentle giant of Colorado, Mount Elbert, there she be. So, yeah, definitely, I mean, a busy hike, of course, because it's a stayed high point. Lots of people, even on, this is a Thursday today. So even on a weekday, I can't imagine what the weekends are like. But yeah, nice, easy trail all the way up. I was very impressed. I was able to get down in about an hour and a half from the summit back to the trailhead. So I think it came out to 4,500 feet of elevation gain across 8.5 miles. So definitely a solid day. A lot easier than yesterday, because much of that was off trail. So yeah, I'm happy I did it. I don't know if I'll come back, honestly. I mean, it's sort of one of those high pointy things. I think one thing you'll notice here is that I've been doing a lot of the 14ers in Colorado, and a lot of people out there try to do all of them. So there's 58 14,000 foot peaks in the state of Colorado. So there's a lot of them. And I am at, let's see, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13? Something like that, 13 or 14 right now. So if I were to actually do them, it's a long ways to go. But I haven't been trying to actually, like, it's not like I have the checklist, like I want to get all 58. It's more like, oh, this place looks cool, I want to go check it out. Or, oh, it's the state high point, I want to go get the state high point. So that's kind of been my MO. I don't know if I'll ever decide to do all 58. Part of the problem is that I could just keep doing more and more places just because I want to go to them, and then it ends up, oh look, I'm so close to the 58, I might as well finish them off. So maybe that'll be what'll happen. But if so, it's a long ways off. But yeah, so I don't know. I'm just glad to be knocking out these mountains while I can and having a more relaxing day compared to the next one. So tomorrow, I think I'm going to go for Mount Massive, which is Elbert's neighbor just to the north, which is the second highest peak in Colorado, the third highest in the continental US. So, but the weather's also going to be nasty tomorrow. At least that's what the forecast said. So we'll see. I might have to bail on it. But yeah, other than that, I'm going to go take a shower, because that is maybe the one thing I need more than anything else right now. So I'll see you in the next one.